going to talk about the pros, the cons, the misconceptions and the benefits. So I'm going to start off with a con. One of the cons are not all your relatives or your guests are able to attend. As much as it may be cost efficient, but there's various factors as to why maybe a loved one won't be able to attend. For example, work, they're not able to get that annual leave, childcare, finance issues. So there's so many factors. So if you're thinking about having a destination wedding, just factor that in. Then knowing that maybe your closest friend, your best friend, or your brother or your sister may not be able to attend for whatever reason. So yeah, so that's the con. Rudo?
I would say cost as well. Yes, everyone naturally assumes getting married abroad is cheaper, but not always. You're going to have to factor things like vendors have different pricings. Yes, the exchange rate can be great, not all the time though, but some of the vendors that you would like, or those that you want to bring from here, you're going to have to pay for their plane, you have to pay for their hotel, as well as pay for their services.
Yeah.
So it works out more expensive, so it's not always cheaper. Certain countries, they have 3 different types of taxes. Dubai, hence, has 3 different types of taxes. It would eventually add up.
Yeah.
On top of that, you're gonna have to pay, especially if you don't have a vendor, if you don't have a wedding plan or anyone planning your event in that country, you might have to travel more than once to go there to make sure everything's running smoothly. So that would, it adds up.
It all adds up, definitely. And also, another thing that most people kind of forget about is when you're going to another country, you need a marriage certificate. And obviously, each country has its own laws. So that's one thing that we would urge. If you're thinking about, for example, getting married, please do your research.
Yes.
Make sure that you have a marriage certificate that allows you to get married in that country. Because if not, no matter what you've planned, no matter what you've paid for, it's not going to happen. So if you have a wedding planner, please bring it to their attention. Obviously, if you pick us now,
We'll do your research.
yes, we'll do it for you. If you're planning to do it yourself, then definitely that's something that you need to think about before you think about dates or anything, because then that all adds up as well to the cost. So yes.
And especially if people get married in a different country, don't forget, even in UK, especially if a lot of churches, they do marriage counselling. You're going to have to do that in that country, which means you're going to have to travel there, or unless the church is willing to do it, and that's if you're a Christian anyway, that's if the church is willing to do it over Skype. And on top of that, don't also forget that besides that, every country has rules and regulations that vary, and some countries are highly Muslim. For example, Dubai, you're not going to find a lot of churches there, and then on top of that, church for them is a different day to us. Their weekend starts on a different day.
You're going to Friday.
Exactly, you have to factor that in when you're going there as well. And in terms of activities that you and your family, you can't just make your friends and family travel there and you don't spend time for them. So at some point you're going to have to pay a little bit extra since they've paid for themselves to be there. So you might have to pay for some activities for you guys to spend time together. So you would have to pay for that, which adds up, to be fair.
Yeah. And it also can take away from alone time with you and your spouse, or you as a couple basically, as newlyweds.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and it can too as well, especially if you have difficult relatives or friends and they're always complaining, then yeah, it can. So just factor those things in, but it's not all sad and it's not all bad and it's not all negative. There are a lot more positives to a destination wedding than the negatives, but we just wanted to highlight it, give you just a few tips, so if you are thinking about it, that you should add that to your list. So we'll talk about positive. So most of the time, depending on what country you're planning to go to, most likely you have good weather. Now, for those of us that are from the UK, you can relate that our weather is not on point. So any excuse to leave the country
is great.
Yes. So obviously, if you're going to get married in, for example, Santorini, Lake Como, wherever it is, Dubai, wherever it is in the world, Ghana, Nigeria, you're most likely to get a bit more sun, or a lot more sun, depending where you go, than the UK. So that's a big benefit, and obviously it makes your pictures look nice. Everyone's happy. When the sun's up, everyone's happy.
You can wear what you like.
Yeah.
in terms of you're able, especially if you come from a family background, for like some of us, you're able to cut your guest list. So especially the aunties that you don't talk to, the uncles that have only seen you since you were crawling in your nappies, they don't have to come, or check that uncle of an uncle of an uncle that you don't even know how you're related, but they're related to you.
By force relations.
Yes, they don't have to come to you literally, unless they really love you. They're not gonna pay their ticket to go there. So it helps to reduce your guest list and have those that you really want to be there, where it'll be more difficult in the country where you live in, because whether you like it or not, your mother, your father will invite them. So yeah, destination weddings helps to cut that out.
Yes. And also another thing is, do you get 2 for 1 or 3 for 1?
3 for 1.
3 for
It's
1.
wedding,
Yes. So obviously you've got the wedding, or you've got the event. You've got great weather, and then you can get a holiday out of it as well, or your guest at least can get a holiday out of it. And you can even get a holiday or even a honeymoon out of it, depending. If you've got somewhere else to go, great. So that's 2 holidays technically. So yeah, so that's another thing that they can also, that's the bonus for them, you know. So it's 2 for 1. They get to enjoy your special day with you, whether it be wedding, birthdays, hen do, stag do, but they also get a holiday as well. So yeah, that's a great thing.
Yeah, definitely, and it helps you, especially if you're like someone like me. I would like my wedding to be quite intimate, so it helps you restrict. It really helps to make your wedding be how you want it. Especially like if you live in London, for example, like Craig said, in terms of weather, for example, in UK we go bipolar. A lot of times when you
4 seasons in one day.
Yeah, yeah, it wouldn't be like that. And then you could attend the destination, especially the destination weddings, your events. You can have your church, your reception, as well as the photo shoot or your photo pictures taken all in one place without having to travel left, right, and centre, which is it's a really good thing. And if you're going to a country where the exchange, like for example Africa, where the exchange rate is better, or you get a lot more for your pound.
Value for money.
It becomes cheaper.
And also another, one last point that I'll just add to a benefit is, for example, wherever you're going to stay, like the hotel, sometimes they do great packages for events, weddings, you know, so you can, and they can also throw in good gesture will, so stuff like an extra free night, maybe for the couple.
Honeymoon suite, they do as well.
Upgrade you know, they can throw in little things, little perks here and there for you as well, if you buy a package with them. So yeah, so there's other things you can also ask them, like, you know, what can you do for me? You know, it's all about bargaining.
That's why you need events and wedding coordinators.
Yes, as well.
Yeah.
And planners. So yeah, so there's just little gems that we thought we'd share with yourselves. If there's anything else you'd like to know, please feel free to comment. Definitely like and subscribe. Follow our social media. It's all stated at the bottom. And we hope to hear from you soon.